and obviously the government is in crisis over the issue, but across parts of the UK as well, and we're seeing a lot of division and hate crime. Do you fear that could increase if the result of the 2016 referendum isn't implemented?
Well, I think, I'm not a big supporter of referenda. And I think, we, meaning we, the non-white British community, have paid the price after the last referendum. The amount of hate crime I have seen and the sort of racial abuse, which we had almost got rid of in the UK, has bubbled up to the top. And whereas generations who have been born here, in subsequent time, are having to experience it for the first time in their life. Whether you are Sikh or Muslim or Hindu, all the places of worship have been attacked. People wearing the star, they have been, singled out. So it is really unfortunate, what is happening. And I think what it shows us, that the certainties we've granted. And I am not sure whether referendum results being implemented will lead to one way or another. We have a very right-wing forces in society now who are defeated by the traditional media, and they're getting coverage. That is bad news for all of us. That's bad news in our gurdwaras, our places of worship, and elsewhere. So I worry about whether it's, the result is implemented, because once the result is implemented, people will feel emboldened.
And when you were first elected 20 years ago now, you were the first Asian female MEP in the European Parliament, but 2 decades on, there is still a huge underrepresentation in politics when it comes to the Asian community, and specifically the Sikh community. Why do you believe that is?
I think what has happened is that Sikhs were some of the first to get engaged in politics in the early days, and most of them were through the unions and through the Indian Workers Association and so on. So they got engaged in politics and became MPs, councillors and so on. But somehow or other, the subsequent generations, were encouraged to go into professions rather than go into politics. Politics in our community is still seen as a little bit of a, dirty business, let's say. So they don't encourage the young people to go into politics. Most people, they say, oh, it's great that you have become an MEP, you represent us. It's great that we have Tanmanjeet Singh and Preet Gill, so they're quite happy that somebody's done it. But actually, they don't encourage, young men and women within our community to do it. And I think it's really important, because we can't complain we're not there if we don't encourage people, to put themselves forward. And nobody becomes let's say, an elected representative overnight. It requires a lot of input. Number one, you have to become a member of a political party. That is a must. Then you have to really do service. We are used to say that as Sikhs. You have to actually do campaigning and do something for the political party, and then you are selected, somewhere. But our biggest problem is that our community, and I would say Punjabi Sikhs, our biggest community deficiency is that we will not join political parties. We don't see the point. We say, nay, aisi ki karna, what is there, what do they do for us? It's all very transactional, but we don't see the impact of, I'm there, that means there is better understanding about Sikh and Sikhi in Europe, all right? I've been able to hold exhibitions about Sikhi. I've had, a kirtan in the parliament itself, and people were astonished to learn about what Sikhs were about. So, if we have our people there, our religion and, you know, our values get transported and understood by others. And others are taking up issues. I mean, years ago I took up the issue of the star in other European countries and how difficult it was. But it's only if you have your own representatives we have a better understanding of what some of the constraints that are felt by our community and to be able to put them across. So I would say, number one, that people have to become members of the party. Number two, they need to really encourage young people to become members, and I would particularly stress young women, because as it is, there's shortage of women. Most political parties recognize that they need to get more women onto winnable positions, and we need to push them into these positions so that, you know, there is a vacancy now, it won't be there forever. So we need to get really organized and get people there. And some of the things that I am doing personally to encourage this is I'm going to be holding a seminar for, you don't have to be a member of a political party to come to it, and it will be in West Bromwich, probably end of May, beginning of June, where I want people to be able to understand what it's like to be a councillor, what is it like to be an MEP or an MP. MEPs won't be there for long, but being an MP, so they can decide, you know, give them some mentoring to go forward, so they don't feel, where do I start, what do I do? Because I think it's really important that we do get more Sikhs into the UK Parliament and more Sikh councillors too. So it's really important we do that.